So why it's super important for employees to be choosing the right companies to work for and the companies choosing the right employees to work for is because once the train starts moving down the tracks of a business, it's super important for everybody to be in alignment, right? And so what you see is a lot of times the business starts rolling and the culture of the business, meaning the people, the leadership, et cetera, aren't aligned. And so it gets really challenging as the train starts going down the tracks for people to keep up, right? Or for people to be interested in keeping up, because the things that are happening within the business aren't necessarily in alignment with the values that they have. And so one of the things that we preach all the time is it's important for us, our employees, and our customers to be sharing the same values, the same vision, the same ideas of how things should be accomplished. And if we don't have that alignment, what happens is that everybody starts to get fractured as to what we're trying to accomplish. And that causes the most basic problems within a business. So it's at the core of a culture that everybody has to share the same values, the same vision, and be on the same mission, or it creates a lot of disjointed culture within a business. And so when you have that alignment, man, there's just a ton of rhythm to it. There's a ton of success that comes pretty easy. And so as you feel things in a business getting easier and easier, it means that everything and everyone is more in alignment. That culture is crystal clear and everybody's on the same page. So as you get everybody on the same page, right, you have to create a culture that makes people want to stick around, right? You have to show people kind of what the future looks like. And so one of the things that I always say is, you know, everybody within your company, their dreams have to fit within your vision. And so to motivate people to stick around, one of the most important things that you can do is literally set up an environment and a culture where people are heard. So you create feedback forms, you create environments where people have regular one-on-ones, and you create an environment where everybody's dreams are not just heard, but they're able to fit within the vision and the mission of the company. And so when you have that alignment and people feel like, you know, the future of their family, the future of their career is safe within your business, turnover goes down significantly or is eliminated completely, and you end up with a well-trained team. Everybody gets into alignment and all kinds of success starts happening just as a natural occurrence as a result of people feeling like they're being heard and their dreams are kind of fitting within where the company is going. So I think that how people stay motivated is being in control of their own destiny. So for me, being in control of my own destiny is really spending over 20 years of my life learning how to sell and being able to execute on the sales strategies that we have in place to produce that revenue and profit that's required to keep a business rolling. And so for me, there's always motivation when it comes to acquiring new business, meeting new people, and being able to interact, because that skill set is just kind of natural to me. I've done it for 20 years. So sales to me is kind of like breathing in and breathing out. You know, it's something that you do every single day. And I think that people don't realize how much time they actually spend in their own lives selling, because they're not really recognizing it as sales. But whether it's negotiating with your kids, negotiating with your wife, selling a customer, meeting somebody new at the grocery store, whatever that may be, all of that is sales. And so the reason that I stay motivated all the time is because the more people that I meet or the more sales interactions that I'm able to have, the more successful my company becomes, the more successful my life is. And as a result of that, the more that I can get of that sales interaction, the more people that I'm able to meet, the more networking I'm able to do, it just naturally creates that feeling of success in my life. So it's incredibly motivating to feel comfortable in that sales environment. And so if you're one of those people that doesn't feel comfortable in sales, whether it's negotiating again with your family or with a customer or whatever it is, if you feel awkward in those situations, I would definitely recommend, you know, pick up some books that can help you, listen to some audio books, but figure out how to get more comfortable in that, and you will naturally feel more successful in every single aspect of your life. But a lot of people say, you know, that people don't like to be sold, and I would tend to disagree with that, right? I think that people don't actually like to be pushed, or they don't like to be convinced, but they're okay with some persuasion, right? The ability for someone else to bring up those things to you that help you understand why you should move in a certain direction. I think that people actually like to be reminded of what's important and why they should take action. And so this idea of people not liking to be sold, I think that's completely false. People actually like to be reminded of why they should do something, and that's called the art of persuasion. But if they're being pushed, and a lot of people, the reason why salespeople kind of have a negative connotation is because so many people are not very good at sales. So you go out and you experience a sales interaction with someone who is pushy, or someone who's trying to convince you of something, as opposed to persuading you based on the needs that you naturally have, right? We all have needs that need to be fulfilled. And if there wasn't a person there reminding us or walking us through that process, persuading us to make that decision, there could be things that we miss out on that we actually need that would be beneficial to our lives. So the art of persuasion is extremely important for people to learn and to be able to execute on a regular basis. You can help a ton of people by being great at the art of persuasion. For any sales interaction to be successful, for a sale to actually happen, there's two things that need to happen. The customer that's purchasing the product, they have to have both a logical and an emotional unlock. So as a salesperson, as someone that's explaining to them why they need the product, you need to be able to logically explain it to them. But second to that, you have to also be able to create an emotional attachment to that. So that's the importance of building value in the product by attaching it specifically to that person's needs. So whether that's something that they need for their family or they need for their children, if they don't have it, there's going to be a shortfall of income. We have to figure out how to build value into the product that they would rather give the money that they have away. They view the product as more valuable than keeping the money themselves. So if they're holding on to $500, $1,000, and they're looking at a product that you can build more value in than the $1,000 that they could keep hold of, that's how you get people to actually take action and buy the product that you are selling. And so a lot of people don't realize that. They either make completely logical conversation out of a sales interaction, or they'll focus too much on the emotional and they'll lack the logic. And so when people are confused or they don't have those two things happen to them, most of the time they just do nothing. So if you have a lot of sales interactions that end with a no decision, that's coming from your inability to unlock one of those things. It's either the emotional unlock or the logical unlock that's not happening. And so if you go back and kind of retrace your steps through the sales process of you trying to explain to people the value of your product, both from an emotional standpoint and a logical standpoint, you'll probably figure out exactly how to rewire that sales process to make that more successful. So many people are going to say to you that money will not make you happy, right? And that is partially true. But anybody that tells you that money is not important in life has never probably had any to be able to experience the difference between having it and not having it. And so while it's never the highest priority on my list of things, obviously money makes a huge difference in being able to do things, being able to fulfill the business needs that you have, being able to hire new employees, being able to take care of the things at home, give security to your family. And so as you start to hear people talking about money, man, you're going to get all kinds of conflicting stories as to whether it's good or bad. And so what I tell people when it comes to money is, never take advice from people that you wouldn't switch places with in life. And it doesn't matter if that's, with regard to your money, to your fitness, to your diet. You should be taking advice from people that you would switch places with. And so a lot of times when it comes to money, people are going to be very vocal about telling you, the negatives of it, or it's painted very negatively. When we're growing up, typically, if we're growing up in a middle class or lower middle class family, a lot of times people don't understand the power of money or how it's used. They see it as a negative. And so those things are ingrained into us as children. And then as we grow up to be adults, we have all these preconceived notions about money that really, realistically, are just untrue. And so as you start to meet people that are a little bit more successful, that understand the power of money and how to use it and how not to get emotionally attached to it, but yet to use it as a tool to be able to move your life forward and to be able to buy the security and stability and to expand your business and to grow things, you start to realize that money is really a resource. It's a tool to be used. If you set money on a table somewhere and you just leave it, it will do nothing. So it will not go make other money on its own. Money is to be used as a tool to invest, to produce more of it. And as you do that, as you understand the concept of using money to make more money, money becomes a lot clearer as to how it's actually supposed to work in your life. So I think one of the keys to realize about money is that, if you are in a normal situation, most people grow up and they are trading their time for money, right? And so as I started to become more successful, I was still trading my time for money, right? I was getting money back for the time that I was spending. And then as that started to pivot where I was able to invest my money to get more time back, so I'm able to hire people to do the things that I used to have to do myself, then that's where money starts to change and it starts to become something that you can use to your advantage. Whether that is hiring somebody to do the landscaping around your house. When you start to realize that the money that you're paying for something, if you invest the time that you used to use into doing your landscaping or cutting your grass into producing more business, you are actually out earning the amount of money that you would pay to someone to do those things that you're not really supposed to be doing. And so that's a big pivot in your life when you get to that point that you're able to invest that money to either take tasks off of your plate that you used to do on a regular basis, or you're able to hire people to record content or to distribute content on social media that allows you to meet more people and shake more digital hands, if you will. Those are the ways that you start to be able to buy your time back, so you're not the one necessarily doing all that stuff. You're not recording the content or distributing it. You're not cutting the grass or trimming the shrubs. You're hiring somebody to do that. All of those hours that you gain back by being able to spend that money when you become more successful, those are all hours that you can either rest or you can invest into your business, and ultimately that multiplies the success that you're able to achieve.